This video training resource illustrates the concept of the Jig Saw Activity Sequence created with Do Kumaran tool and describes the process and flow of the sequence to achieve its learning outcomes. This shows the flow of the activity sequence for Jig Saw Activity Sequence. The Jig Saw Activity Sequence focuses on higher level of collaboration across all the groups when they work together to link and make sense of a flow of stages involved. This activity sequence enables each group comprising of 5 to 6 members each in a class to work together through discussions amongst them. Thereafter, having their group inputs entered into the support system. Thereafter, all groups are assigned to work in a single document to have the varying stages of answers presented and laid out with connectivity. This allows all the 8 to 9 groups to work real-time in a single document concurrently. Furthermore, the goal is to increase engagement through varying groups by having their thoughts exchanged more deeply and to make them think critically in the scaffolding learning process. Two design approaches are possible. One approach only allows the leaders of each of the groups to input and the rest of the group members to be able to see what is being entered through their group discussions. The second approach allows each of the group members to also have their discussion pointers to be inputted concurrently. That is to say, all 5 to 6 of them are able to input their responses as well as see what others are contributing. Hence, when it comes to working in a single document, literally, all of them in the class within their assigned teams are able to be involved in shaping up the answer with varying inputs and trying to come to an answer with consensus. This enables students to have relevant discussions while having the inputs to the questions addressed. Thereafter, the document that all the groups have been working concurrently will be sent to the instructor to facilitate the class discussion through this activity attempted. The system has now captured all of the group's contributions. The instructor then facilitates by going through the pointers discussed amongst the groups by having it projected out to the screen where the rest of the class could see what others have contributed. In this page, you will see the instructions provided for the learners. By clicking on the Next Activity icon, it allows the learners to move to the next sequence in the activity. This sequence of the page provides the instruction to select the group number that corresponds with their respective group number that should have been pre-assigned by the instructor. By clicking on the Next Activity icon, it allows the learners to move to the next sequence in the activity. This page of the sequence allows the learners to select their respective groups which they have been assigned to. By clicking on the icon Choose, it enables each of the group member seated in a round table of 5 to be clustered into that group respectively. Once the Choose icon is clicked, a pop-up screen will ask, "Are you joining Group X?" The learners are to click the button Confirm to acknowledge the confirmation of the group that they are joining. This page sequence presents the members who have been added into the respective groups. Thereafter, the learner has to click the Next Activity icon to proceed to the next page of the sequence. This page of the sequence instructs the learner to identify a leader who will moderate the discussion within the group of 5 to 6 and a scribe who will write on the document in the activity. By clicking on the Next Activity icon, it allows the learners to move to the next sequence in the activity. There will be a pop-up screen that asks the learner if he or she wants to be the leader. In a group setting, the first learner who enters in this sequence usually gets to be the leader if he or she clicks the "Yes, I want to become a leader" icon first. This page indicates the learner selected as the leader. By clicking on the Next Activity icon, it allows the learner to move to the next sequence in the activity. This sequence of the page instructs the learner to read the case study and the questions that accompany it. It also reiterates to just focus. For example, the assigned component of the system that is being assigned to the group respectively. By clicking on the Next Activity icon, it allows the learners to move to the next sequence in the activity. This page of the sequence brings the learners to a document which enables them to key in their answers to the questions asked. However, the distinctive feature of this Do Kumaran tool or template is to facilitate real-time sharing of inputs that are being entered, which enables each and everyone in the same team to view and edit the inputs concurrently. There are a total of 5 different sequential components or stages in this activity. However, the groups will only address their own assigned component or stage by engaging in a group discussion through collective inputs under their own assigned category. Once they are done, by clicking on the Next Activity icon, it allows the learners to move to the next sequence in the activity. This page of the sequence informs all that the instructor may consider having a short discussion and questions posed to the students from a standalone perspective, as the students have only worked on the assigned component or stage, but there are other connecting components or stages involved. After the intervention by the instructor as deemed appropriate, by clicking on the Next Activity icon, it allows the learners to move to the next sequence in the activity. This page of the sequence brings the learners to a juncture to ensure all groups have completed the collective inputs or answers and are ready to proceed with the peer review. There is a gate which serves as a control mechanism which is only accessible to the instructor, who activates it once all groups are ready to proceed. By clicking on the next icon, it allows the learners to move to the next sequence in the activity. This page of the sequence brings the learners to a juncture to ensure all groups have completed their collective inputs or answers and are ready to proceed to the next phase of reviewing their own work with peer feedback provided. There is a gate which serves as a control mechanism which is only accessible to the instructor, who activates it once all groups are ready to proceed. By clicking on the next icon, it allows the learners to move to the next sequence in the activity. This page of the sequence reiterates by explicitly providing the instruction to take into account the reflections and class discussion pointers, where now the students from each group are required to work with the other groups to create a coherent plan. They are to observe what the other groups have inputted, the example for their HR component that they are being assigned to, and to make the necessary adjustments to their own answers. By clicking on the Next Activity icon, it allows the learners to move to the next sequence in the activity. This page of the sequence brings the learners to a document which enables them to evaluate their peer review and revise their answers as deemed appropriate. However, the distinctive feature of this Do Kumaran tool or template is to facilitate real-time sharing of inputs that are being entered, which enables each group to carefully understand what others have inputted in their respective HR component, and thereafter make the necessary adjustments and alignments to their own, which is clearly labeled. That is the component and the groups assigned to it. This enables the flow of the contents to ensure there is coherent flow to the entire plan. In this case, the HR management system. Once they are done, by clicking on the next activity icon, it allows the learners to move to the next sequence in the activity. This page of the sequence informs the learner at this juncture to get ready for the instructor's class facilitation, where the group's initial answers and the revised part for each of the component will be discussed through class discussions. By clicking on the Finish icon, it enables learners to complete the entire activity sequence. This page of the activity sequence shows a message stating that the learner has successfully completed and submitted the answers to the questions that have been assigned to the group.